Hello everyone and welcome back to the Data Crunch podcast. I'm Vadym, your host, joined as always by our expert in all things data, Ievgen. Today we're discussing the top skills data analysts need to thrive in 2025. Data analytics is more than just a job title. It plays a crucial role in shaping how businesses operate and, more importantly, how they grow revenue. Ievgen, it feels like the demand for skilled data analysts is only increasing. Why is this role so vital right now?
Great topic, Vadym. Great topic to discuss and a great question as well. Actually, it's so funny as we are recording this episode on Tuesday, the second day of the biggest analytics conference in Europe, Super Week. Basically, companies are generating more data than ever before. Every day, the amount of data is growing. The amount of data that companies collect. But unfortunately, most of them never utilize that. I haven't ever seen the business that grow the revenue with the same speed as the amount of data they collect. So without a skilled data analyst, without the right framework, without the right processes in place to work with that data, to make sense of the data that is being collected every day basically has no value. Analysts, skilled data analysts, digital analysts, they bridge the gap between raw data that's being collected and the answers to business questions that help organizations to make more informed decisions, stay competitive, and grow their revenue faster.
Wow, that makes sense. So let's dive into the skills analysts need to stay ahead. Where should we start?
So let's begin with the technical skills, because these are the foundations of any data analyst toolkit. The three must-haves are SQL or SQL, spreadsheets, and some sort of data management skills, data engineering skills.
Okay, got it. So SQL is something we hear about a lot in this field. Why is this so important?
So SQL is the language of databases. It's the data language. If you want to speak to data, you need to know SQL. Whether you are pulling sales data, customer feedback, operational metrics from some sort of databases, data warehouses, like where the data is stored, chances are you are going to be using SQL to access that data. So that's why it's a core skill, core language that every data analyst needs, and it's often part of the technical screenings during the job interviews, like in 90% of cases. Plus, look, even when you use Google Sheets or Excel, there are those query functions, the Power Query in Excel, that are typically SQL Lite for spreadsheets.
Yeah, that makes sense. SQL, or aka SQL, is about accessing the data. Once you have it, you need to analyze it, right?
Exactly. So SQL is used to access the data, to manipulate the data, to transform it, to extract the data. So, as I said, to speak to data, so data does any kind of job for you. But then, when you got the data, you have to do something meaningful, right? I would say start with Excel or Google Sheets next. Like traditional BI tools for data visualization are great, but you can learn that later on. Business folks actually love reporting spreadsheets because they will be able to manipulate the data, to massage the data, to play with it. They already know some kind of simple spreadsheet functions like VLOOKUP, array formulas. Plus, they all know how to build simple charts. So we've specifically created a tool within our reports extension that transform any table with data into a dashboard with pie charts, line charts, time series things, cohort reports, and a pivot table. Like, the easiest way to check out the tabular data is to run our free extension on top.
Yeah, and we'll definitely put the link to extension below in this episode. If you're interested, you can check it out. Great, so there is data engineering, you said, right? What does that involve?
Let's say data management. It's a big topic. It's all about organizing and storing data effectively. Think about how much data a company generates every day. It's not enough to have like tons of spreadsheets. The data needs to be stored securely, but accessible. Plus, it should be structured for analysis. So this all starts with data collection. Like taking your data from various platforms, Facebook ads here, Google Analytics, QuickBooks, Stripe, Sales CRM, any tool into some sort of a storage. At least spreadsheets, okay, but better to use a data warehouse or a database, something like Snowflake, BigQuery. It's just a great investment going forward.
I see. So it sounds like these skills are the building blocks for any data analyst. So what's the next step once you have the data is in place?
Once you've collected the data, the next step is data preparation. This involves cleaning the data, making sure it's reliable, organizing the data, so to say. Then you need to build what we call the data model, basically mapping the data into objects with attributes that are easier to understand and analyze in the future. We at AWACS are launching now those templates with industry-specific data models that everyone could use.
I'm curious, why is this step so critical? Why data preparation, data modeling is important here?
Imagine trying to build a report with some messy or incomplete data. It leads to errors and unreliable insights. Or when you get the data, but you don't know how to join them, like website visitors and the clients. What's the key there? How to connect those two tables? Okay, you have those two tables ready, but how to map that together? That is what data analyst typically does, basically building those connections between those types of data, like relationships. And the data model allows to ensure that all of the future reports are going to be built by the same rules. Data preparation, transformation, ensures your future reports are going to be accurate and credible. It may not be glamorous, but it's a skill that separates good analysts from the great ones.
That's right. Data preparation is crucial. It's clear now. And I guess once the data is ready, that's when the analyst starts, right?
It depends, but typically yes. It's time to build a report. So at this stage, analyst creates a data mart, a SQL query, to basically extract some sort of data from the databases. And when this is done, one of two things happens. First, he could share that report with a stakeholder, and that's it. Like a spreadsheet delivered to a business user. Or an analyst starts looking for patterns, trends, and insights that can drive that business user to make decisions. So either share the report, the results of the analyst's work, or doing some kind of analysis part and share the findings with stakeholders. Or basically sometimes both, like the core spreadsheet with data plus some findings. But look, technical skills alone aren't enough for this part. You need a strong set of soft skills too, okay?
Okay, so let's talk about soft skills. Why are they so important for data analysts today?
Soft skills are what take analysis from good to great. So, for example, being a keen observer, knowing how business works, what's the business model, what are the goals of the business, what are the questions that business is or should be asking. This all helps analysts to spot patterns and anomalies that others might miss. So this extends beyond the numbers. It's about understanding how the business operates and what are the growth opportunities and how to find them.
Okay, so observation, understanding business goals, those are the keys. Anything else?
So yeah, basically another critical skill is being able to ask the right questions. So before diving into data, you need to understand the problem you're solving. So first comes the goal or the problem, then the questions to ask. Thoughtful questions help align your work with business goals. Then you start thinking about the metrics you need to measure in order to answer those questions. Follow me, right? So, goals or the problems, then the questions that can help to reach those goals, then the answers to these questions with the right metrics and dimensions.
Totally. Yes, that makes sense. And what if the data needed isn't readily available?
That's where resourcefulness comes in. So, great analysts know how to find the data, which platforms to get the data from, or even how to start collecting the data. Because look, analytics is not always real time, right? It takes time to build the system, the analytics process, but then you still iterate, and iterate again. You might need to work with other teams to gather new information.
Got it. So once you've found insights in the data, how do you ensure they have an impact?
So communicating those insights is just as important as finding them. So that's where you need those soft skills. Even the most talented or skilled analyst loses his value, the value of the reports, if they are poorly presented. Great analysts excel at turning complex findings into super simple, compelling stories.
Yeah, it reminds me of the quote from Albert Einstein: make things as simple as possible, but not simpler. Okay, what makes for a good data story?
This is about two things. It's about clarity and relevance. Use visuals like charts, pivot tables. No need to create something fancy to clarify your points, and always tie your findings back to the business impact. So, for example, explain how it affects revenue or customer retention or marketing performance, instead of just showing the sales trend.
I'm really curious in your opinion, Yevgen. Looking ahead, are there any emerging trends or skills analysts should focus on for 2025?
So one big trend I'm hearing all the time is econometrics, especially for data analysts in finance. Again, I've studied that in university back in the days, and that was not really popular at that time. But for now, using statistical models to forecast trends and make future-proof decisions is becoming important again.
Sure. And what would you say about AI and machine learning?
This is relevant for all of the professionals, even for the data folks. Like, you don't need to be an expert in AI or machine learning, but having that, using that by, like, let's say, a foundational understanding, and that can give you a significant edge.
I see. So the role of data analyst is evolving to include more advanced techniques and collaboration.
Exactly. It's no longer just about crunching numbers. Analysts are becoming key players in strategic decision-making within businesses, and the ability to collaborate with other teams or stakeholders is even more important than ever for the company's success, and probably even more important than just writing SQL.
Yes, I'm sure. This has been an incredible conversation, Yevgen. So let's summarize the key takeaways for our listeners.
Sure. So here is what to focus on as a data analyst in 2025. Like, number one, master core technical skills. SQL, maybe you would like to learn Python, and data management. Number two, embrace soft skills like observation, asking the right questions, and resourcefulness. And number three, learn how to tell compelling stories using data, simple visualizations, and clear communication. Keep an eye on trends like AI to just simplify your life and stay ahead.
Thanks, Yevgen. That's been great. And for our listeners, for those who are looking to expand your skills as data analyst, head over to the OWAX website at owax.com and explore our tools for better reporting, data collection, analytics tactics, visualization techniques, and so much more. Get started for free today and empower business users to make more data-backed decisions with your reports. For our listeners, the future of data analytics is exciting, but it's also competitive. Staying ahead means continuously learning and adapting.
Thanks for tuning in to the Data Crunch podcast, and don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your friends and network. See you next time.